Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be working on the C5 Corvette. My previous video, I just bought this thing. I traded it for a truck I had, and I got this, and we are planning on drifting it. And you can tell from the title, we're installing a hydro today. See down here, we got all of our stuff right here. Everything I think I need. I'm in an apartment now. It's a different scenery. I think this is my first video I'm actually posting in this new place. Moved into an apartment, and so yeah, trying to work out of here a little bit. I still have the other garage that I'll be in and out of working on the 240 and other things, but today is on this thing. So in my last video, I explained, a purpose for this, why I got it, and my intentions on it. So with anything else being said, we're gonna go ahead and hop right into this e-brake setup. So this e-brake setup, I'm gonna go ahead and explain a couple things before we get started on this install. It's a inline kit. I found it on, I was just browsing for some hydro kits for this car because I wanted a hydro. I know I'm gonna drift it, and I needed to get one. I have a sim, and I've been practicing on that a lot. Really, hydros, you don't want to rely on them, but you need one, especially driving in general. I don't know all the terms and everything, but you definitely need one. You want to have more fun. It's really cool. It locks up the rear tires. It's easier to drift. At least in the sim, it's a lot easier to drift. All right, so the kit we got, oh man, why is this? I'm sorry if it looks terrible quality right now. I think it's the lighting and how dark it is in here, or dim. But we got a, it's called Parts Max something. What's it called? I already forgot. I don't know. What is it called? Frick. It's like Max Shop or something, Max Pro Shop. I'll leave the link in the description. I purchased this off here. All this total was like $500. A really, really good budget-friendly kit, because if you're buying an extra caliper in the rear, lines, it's just a little more expensive. You're probably spending another $400 or $500 on calipers, pads, a bunch of other things. So this one, we are, it's like a wombo combo. We're deleting the ABS module, which we will show you here in a little bit. So it comes with two lines. It comes with these little block plates, and obviously the e-brake, which is a bolting kit, which is so nice. It's going to be covered underneath the shifter bezel, so it's going to sit next to it. I wanted the e-brake closer to me, but I couldn't find an option for that. So we got this sucker right here. Got these two lines and this. Okay, so all that, I'm going to stop talking and we're going to get into the video. All right, so we're just going to show you all a glimpse of this, because I can't really show you too well, especially it being underneath the car or inside the car underneath. We're going to take these two lines, and we have to feed them through the cab, through the firewall, to our master cylinder, and also over here to our ABS module. To get to there, we're going to go right under here. And there's one little tube hole thingy that you can kind of see right there. I peeled it back. It's got this sound deadening thing. You can kind of see it right in there. Let's see if we can. It's right there. Yep. I cut it a little bigger. So we're going to take that hole and hopefully shove those lines through there. So let's start with that first. Alrighty, so we got both of these lines pulled out through here. You can see the longer one that goes to the front near the ABS module. Shorter one, which is going to go to the master cylinder. We're going to just take it off right here and thread, get the thread thingamajigger, the fitting over there, and then put that on there to thread onto that piece right here. And just as of right now, we don't have nothing dismantled, but go under here, ignore what I did, but you can see there may not be a grommet, but I'll tell you what, both of the lines are through there. That's all that matters. So, got all the lines through there. That's really the only way I could. That's really the only way I could get it, because with the tools I have over here, and I just want to get this crap done. That's the best I could do. So now we're gonna go to this line. We're gonna go ahead and undo it from there, and then we're gonna trace this over to the ABS module and undo it from there. So let's get to that. All right, so this, whatever this little distribution block is, or whatever that is, we had to disconnect that because this one with the fitting will connect to there, And the other part will go over here in a minute. I'll explain that because I'm not too sure. I got to look up a few things myself. But we're going to go ahead and now remove this completely, which there is another bolt over here, which we're going to get to. See if we can figure out which one it is. Okay, it's looking like it's going to be this one right here. At least that's what it looks like because I'm wiggling it and... All right, so here's the little line. We just fished right in between the alternator and the chassis, and it slipped right out. So now on to the next step. Wiping this up first, and then we'll go to actually installing all these lines. All right, so this little guy is what adapts the OEM brake line to the new one. So we're gonna go ahead and stick this one. All right, now that one's on there, we are gonna move on to this up here, which we have those 2 blocks and everything, that whole mess. There's a little picture online. I'm gonna read over it and make sure, and then you guys will watch me do it. I don't know if I can get to show it. Oh, maybe if we go through here. Oh shit. Kind of see the L. It won't focus, but there's a left rear, right rear, and over here I believe it's there we go. Right front, and I'm guessing left front on the bottom, or at least maybe, because I don't know what this one, maybe this one goes to the master. No, it does not. Maybe it does. Yeah, so this one right here goes, well, this line right here goes, still travels next to the headers over to this top left one. All right, so here's the diagram. In the diagram you can see the front and rear. It explains pretty clear, but in the next part of the video I'm going to describe exactly what you're seeing here. I'm going to show the fittings and how I'm going to route the lines. Also, this doesn't just apply to C5. I believe, you know, any master cylinder, if you're tying in an inline handbrake, should work the same exact way. So let's get back to the video and you'll see those lines that I'm going to be threading in. Okay, so you saw the diagram. I looked over it again and it made much more sense. So let me explain real quick what I'm doing and then we'll do it. So this fitting is going to go to all of the front brake lines, which makes sense now. This one is going to be off, which is the top one. And we're going to thread that into one of these. I'm probably going to put it in this one. And then these two will go to, let's just say, front right and left right. So what we're going to do is we're going to unbolt those 2 that are down in there. There's a total of 3. All 3 of those connectors are going to go to this adapter thing. This one is going to thread into this reservoir, which is going to go to these 2, which makes total sense now. So it still is a loop system. This front one, which activates the front brakes, will be teed off to here. So when I do press the pedal, it'll activate. I don't even know how these work. So it'll activate this line, I guess, and it'll cause all brakes. Well, both will cause it to lock up. I guess. I don't know how a brake system works, really. I'm just following directions online and showing you all if I mess up. So all we need to know is this line's connected, this line's gonna connect to these 2, and this T fitting are gonna connect all of these 3 together so we can delete the ABS module, because that's what the kit's for. So let's get to that now. All right, now both of those are out. It makes sense why they gave these adapters now, because one of these lines are thicker than the other, which it looks like it's this one. This is the bigger one, which needs the adapter. The other 2 will thread straight in to the brass. I guess this is brass fitting. It looks, I mean, gold brass, I guess. So these 2 are for the smaller lines. That's kind of like this one right here. So down in here, it's actually no telling. I don't know, to be honest with you. Because these down here look pretty thin. Oh yeah, these, okay, so thin. And then let's see if the other one's pretty thin. The other one looks pretty thick. So we're looking at this one. Let's compare those threads. Yeah, so there's two thick ones. So we can also tell by the threads too. Yeah, it looks like the middle one, which is that one right there, is smallest. So we're gonna have two of the threaded ends. So we gotta thread one more in here. And then we're gonna have to bend these lines as well to get this all to work. And then we finally deleted the ABS module. So sorry I didn't really show me, you know, unthreading all these because it took me a lot of time. Probably took me 40 minutes just to get all these undone, or longer, probably an hour and 10, just to get all this, because that is a pain in the butt. I highly recommend, if you have them, I think they're called like lineman wrenches or something, but apparently they'll like, you can twist and you can move it and it'll slide on. It'll basically, the teeth will grab onto the next nut slide, I guess. It'll like kind of slide on, but I just made do with regular wrenches. So we're gonna go ahead, fix this up, make this look right, and then get it in there. So I gotta figure out what lines I'm gonna bend, which I guess I'll explain real quick. Since we have one small one, we're probably gonna, what's the best way to tackle this? I'm probably gonna do it something like this. Bend this one down, because if we bring this one up down in here, kind of like this. Let's see here. Yeah, we don't want to bend this one too much because it is like very close to the belt. So is that one. We're gonna have to zip tie it, probably zip tie it over here, or maybe put it underneath the windshield washer fluid to prevent it from going forward. Just keep it in there and that'll hold it, kind of. We'll figure out something. But I'm gonna figure out something for this, and then yeah, we'll get this on. All right, so this is a little time lapse of me going ahead and taking a wrench and tightening up these T's. Make sure these are extremely tight, because I ran into an issue of one of them or two of them being loose, which was leaking a little bit of fluid, which, you know, caused air to get into this system. So that wasn't perfect. So I recommend getting crow's feet, which I did eventually. I'm just not showing in this video. I went back through and tightened those up. So again, crow's feet would probably be the best way to do this, because getting a wrench in there and trying to tighten these, it took me forever. So that's what I'm just showing you, this little part of me tightening them up in there, which again, it was a pain in the butt. But you got to tighten all those together, make sure you get all those lines, and the hard lines, make sure when you bend them, you do not kink the line, because then again, you're going to have issues there. So I kind of just finagled the T, and I grabbed the T that you see right there, the little, you know, the anodized or what do you, copper fittings. I kind of grabbed them and tweaked it to as close as I could to the brake lines from the fronts, and then kind of just bent them just a tad to thread them on. So that was definitely the biggest challenge, but as long as you can get that, it's pretty straightforward from there. You just have to button up everything after that. Okay, so now that this thing sits in here really good, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This little guy, not touching, because I don't want to take all this out, and if there's a piston, I don't want to mess with it. So I don't think one little bolt, it probably will. I just want to rip this thing. If I rip the e-brake out of it, so be it. And not e-brake, I mean hydro. So yeah, we're just gonna bolt this thing up, and that one bolts in there. I can't believe it went in perfect. So the basic concept is done. Everything's in. We're gonna do some zip ties here. Didn't know if I was going to get any pressure at all, but I guess not. Oh man, I'm ready to yank that thing. That's what she said. So we're going to button up all this, and next step will be you'll see me bleed the brakes and then hopefully taking it for a rip. So let's get right to it. Alrighty guys, well, if you stuck into the video this long, I really do appreciate it. You're not going to see me bleed the brakes or even test drive in this one. I promise you in the next video, you'll see me rip the handbrake. There were some technical difficulties I do want to talk about. The master cylinder that does come with it, the black cylinder that was on the e-brake, the 5/8 one, that no 3/4 I believe, 3/4 I think is bigger than 5/8. 3/4 is the one that's on there. It is really big for the rear brakes, and so what you'll do is it's a whole ordeal. If you want to look it up about pulling handbrakes or why my handbrake is not working, the bigger the cylinder, the more it'll work. However, the more force you have to do, and I was having to use extreme amount of force. I might show that in another video, but I was yanking it really hard and it wasn't working. But you definitely want to get a good set of rear pads, and it just wasn't working. So what I did do is I went down to a 3/4, no 5/8. What is it? Piston, or what can I have? Master cylinder. That's what it is. I went down to a 5/8 master cylinder, and with the drift events I have attended, it has helped a lot more. I have a little bit more of a throw, but a little bit more of a throw. The way, I guess leverage works. The way if I pull a little more leverage, it activates. I don't have to use as much force, and it'll activate just as much. It just has to use, I have to pull it more, which is okay. So I did change that. Make sure you bleed the brakes well, especially after installing a new line, 2 new big lines. Make sure you get that cleared out and taken care of. And other than that, it should work. But yeah, this is all you get for the video, is me installing it. Again, probably next video I'll have bits and clips, so stay tuned for that. Check it out, because it's definitely it rips. But I hope you got now a better understanding, not only for the C5, but how a inline handbrake works. I definitely learned a lot, and this goes for pretty much probably anything, as long as you don't do some hard line tap into your rear brake somehow. But definitely deleting the ABS so it doesn't lock up on you. But it worked great. Again, with some minor tweaks, but it's a race car, so you're gonna have to make some minor tweaks in order for it to work perfect. Nothing I don't think is drop in and perfectly works. It's always always having to play around with it. So it was a great little video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did stay this far, again, I really do appreciate it. My dog is drinking out of the toilet. Axel! I can hear him drinking out of it. I don't think you can hear it. Anyways, if you made it this far, again, I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, press the subscribe button. And if you have any suggestions, or if you saw something I screwed up on, drop it in the comments below, and let me know how I did. So I'll see you on the next one. Adios.